All right, guys, I work for Network Development Group. Those of you who've seen me present many times, I apologize to get a little bit of background here. What NDG does is we build remote lab solutions, distance learning products, and we work with many different partner programs. One of the things I heard from a lot of my customers was, hey, how about Linux? And it's pretty obvious that Linux and open source is where things are going. Does anybody disagree with that? You need Linux and open source skills, even if you've got other vendor programming skills. Industry's looking for more Linux experts. We all agree that's kind of where we're seeing things trend? Anybody disagree with that? Cool. All right, cool. So I was looking for a Linux partner about a year ago, and I met Chuck and Ross Brunson in the back here. Chuck, and we started kind of comparing notes, working together. I tried to work with many different Linux organizations, and for whatever reason, some weren't as academic friendly as I'd hope. Even those that should be an open source weren't. They wanted to charge a lot of money to schools. And I know once you start charging a lot of money to schools, it's really tough to get traction. And without a lot of aggregating of numbers, it gets really tough to roll a program out. Okay? So the way you can pull off a good academic program is get lots of numbers, then charge a little bit of fee to each to sustain and then invest back into it. And I knew that out the gate. All right, so when I looked at all the jobs that are out in industry, like when I did a little quick job search recently, notice Citrix on Dice, this is US-wide, 1,400. On Indeed.com, this is international, 6,256. VMware, 3,515. 16,613. Cisco, 4,121. 2,350. 253, pardon me. Then Linux. Look at the number. It's relevant. So the question is, why aren't we teaching this more? Because the jobs are there. And if you don't believe me, go do these keyword searches on these websites. Do them now. Go to Google. Check them out. And you'll be surprised at how many jobs there are right here in San Francisco for Linux. There's some big numbers. Now these other numbers are absolutely relevant. Now Microsoft is definitely high numbers. Now I was trying to figure out why this was so high. Anybody got some thoughts why this was so high?
It's covering applications as well as others.
Yeah, there you go. So Microsoft is a very generic statement for covering a lot of things. So is Linux, but Microsoft's covering a lot of things like, your Office applications, desktops, etc. Microsoft's extremely relevant. So we're not implying that these programs outside of Linux aren't relevant. Not at all. So these numbers help us kind of scope where we're going. Okay, my goals for doing this with NDG is I wanted to add more Linux and open source. The LPI team is very committed to a strategy to help academia teach not just 1 or 2 Linux courses, but pathways for your students to get the LPIC 1, LPIC 2, LPIC 3. Now here's a problem. What's the problem with getting to LPIC 3 in academia? Anybody know? LPIC 3 would align to you could run a data center almost on your own or manage the data center as a Linux pro. How many students are we going to get to that cert? So if we don't get those aggregate numbers, it's really hard for us to invest, right? So I know that we've got to give you guys a feeder system to build those building blocks. So that's what we're trying to accomplish. Now, I know there's demand for Linux offerings, and I wanted to serve our customers, the schools and the partners. So that's why I'm off doing this. That's my motivation. Anybody new to Linux Professional Institute? Anybody in the room new to it? 2 more. Okay, LPI.org. You can check it on Google right now. If today, during the presentation, you really like what you're seeing, I would strongly encourage you to consider joining the LPI Academy. And you can Google that while I'm talking. Check it out, LPI Academy. Very good little program. The courses are going to be free. LPI Motivation, want to help schools teach to Linux certifications. They are a nonprofit, but like all other nonprofits, they need to have a model to sustain and invest in their community. They want to keep the certs current. If you take the cert, they do charge a fee that pays Pearson VUE, pays their cost, keeps the certs current, keeps the community going. That's the ecosystem. All right. They love to increase cert adoption. They want you to help. If you teach to their certs, it can help them increase their adoption. Everybody wins, okay? They can invest in more classes. Now, how many of you are familiar with CompTIA, Linux Plus? How many of you all knew that LPI was the engine behind CompTIA Linux Plus? A few hands. Okay, a couple people aren't raising their hands. I always ask this. Is anybody in the room not going to raise their hand for me no matter what I ask? Okay, thank you for being honest. Okay, so only one person that I know won't answer if I ask a question. I got it. All right. LPI certifications. We got Linux Essential Certificate of Achievement. It's kind of strange wording. Certificate of Achievement. All right. These are certifications, LPIC 1 and the Linux Plus SUSE. These are certifications that are basically telling employers you're at this level if you go look at these objectives. This one is telling an employer that I've started down the path of learning Linux. I'm comfortable with Linux command line. I understand open source. What would this be complimentary for? What would this be a good cert for somebody to take? Does anybody got any ideas? A+, Net+, CCNA. I am going into industry. I've got several certs under my belt, but I'm going to go to my employer who might want Linux and open source, but I'm going to tell them I've never even touched Linux. Really good opportunity, right? I can cover this material, get that in my hand, put it on my resume. Now it goes really well with A+, Net+, Security+. Would you all agree? Really easy way for a student to stand out. So you won't disagree with that? Cool. All right. LPIC 1 would basically give you a 3-for-1. Chuck, you want to explain that real quick?
Yeah. So Linux Plus, powered by LPI, is our LPIC 1 branded by CompTIA as the Linux Plus powered by LPI. So LPIC 1, Linux Plus, same 2 exams. That's the certification.
So you get credit for 2 certs, 1 test.
So 1 test, you're going to take it starts with Linux Plus, powered by LPI. Take 2 exams, pass those, check a box. We're going to award the LPIC 1 LPI. So you'll get the CompTIA Linux Plus. LPI will award the LPIC 1, and then we have another partnership with SUSE. SUSE will award the Certified Linux Administrator certification. So 3 certifications for the cost of LPIC 1.
Good deal. Do you think your students would really be impressed because now they got 3 certs? They did this one, they got 4 certs on their resume going down this path. All right, LPIC 2, LPIC 3. How many of you are familiar with Cisco's program? CCNA. So this would be like CCNet or CCNA level. This would be more like CCNP level to CCIE. In other words, roll up your sleeves, buddy, because you're going to work hard. Right? So LPIC 2 is going to be up the level, up the intensity. LPIC 3, you better be ready to rock and roll. You're going to need to really know your stuff. High-end, CCIE type guy. All right? Is that cool? Fair summary? All right. Linux Essentials. This is the course that I think will be a high runner. If a school's not teaching this and they've got an ICT program, I kind of wonder why not. Why not introduce your students to Linux command line if you're teaching computers? Now, we are going to align curriculum directly to the certificate itself. So when you're done with the curriculum, you should be able to pass that certificate. It's going to be an introduction to Linux command line. How many of you have got students that are really comfortable with GUIs and their iPads, but once you put them on a command line, they freak out on you? Anybody have that experience? Okay. You nodded your head, but you didn't raise. Yeah, okay. Good. All right. So, today's world, every student that thinks they're good at computers probably really means I really can fly when I hit my buttons on my smartphone, right? Or, hey, when I hit my iPad, I really know how to navigate around. Linux is a different world, right? So what we want to do is remove the intimidation of the command line, okay? It's a hands-on course with content labs. What do I mean? I'm going to show you in the Cisco NetSpace how we've married virtual machines to the actual curriculum. Instructor presentation materials. How many of you like a course when they already have the PowerPoint slides built for your lectures? Would you like for us to give you a PowerPoint slide deck for every chapter that's in NetSpace? You got it. It's already built and already put together for you. And guess what? As long as you don't remove the NDG logo and you don't remove the LPI Academy logo, you can put your own graphics on it. We're not going to prevent you from doing that. Cool? So you can brag about your school, whatever you want to do on the PowerPoints. We'll give you the PowerPoint decks. Questions for learner, midterm, and final. You like that? It's already built in for you in the NetSpace. And guess what? We're going to grade it for you. You like that even better? Cool. All right, so that's where we're going. Here are the learning modules. Can you see that? It's kind of small. I apologize. How many of you are Cisco Networking Academies? Okay. How many of you would consider joining the Cisco Network Academy if you could get free into the Academy and you could get this course for free? Get the rest of it. Okay. All right. All right, so I heard I will, but not a hand raise. Okay, well, good. All right, so this course is going to be free to Cisco Networking Academies. I'm going to log in and show it to you real quick. Excuse me. All you have to do is join the LPI Academy. And Chuck, you'll get them signed up today, right?
It's online. So it's on our website.
He's so lazy. Yeah. Okay. All right, so let's look at the pilot in NetSpace. So Chuck will help you if you can't find it in Google. Let me jump on NetSpace real quick. And I apologize to those that were in our last session, because I know you saw some of this information already. What I'm doing is logging into NetSpace. This is Cisco's product and web management system. I click on Learn. I've got this nice Linux course already built in here. We're working on the nice clean user interface, but you can get the feel for it. I'm going to go down to Chapter 4, and I'm going to kick off the class. And notice I've got the material that's going to teach. Chapter 4 is kind of introducing the command line. The earlier chapter set up background on Linux, open source, etc. And I'm actually going to start walking the student to learning through command line. Now, there's something really neat about this. Notice right here, Linux terminal, show hi. While I'm reading about Linux, which is really important, I can bang away on the command line all I want. This is a real Linux virtual machine. They cannot hurt it. They can do whatever they want. Just play around. How many times have you read something like you read a book and you wish you could configure it? We're going to give that student that opportunity. Good way to learn, you think? All right. Now, that's not quite good enough, though, because a lot of our learners probably need some step-by-step instructions. So what if at the end of the chapter, after they're done reading about it, what if we walk them step-by-step through some instructions so that if they're a learner who needs to like visualize it or do it, they get some prescriptive steps that explain it to them. So this lab exercise that follows on the chapter will match the chapter and walk them through doing an actual lab content exercise. Now when they're done, they can bang on that VM all they want to do whatever they need to. Go ahead, Ross, what you got?
I just want to make sure that can you zoom
Yep.
You're going to be in it. Yeah, they'll be in it.
Actually, we're going to use something else. I apologize for that. All right, so that gives, wow, it's really hard to work with this now. Okay, so if you can see, this gives you the content, the step-by-step instructions for the lab, and it's hard for me to get around in it now. Zoomed it up too big. All right, so that's the content. Now, here's an example of a quick question bank. I've got quiz 1. I've already started it. And it's just examples of questions. Once I click on it, I answer the questions as I go, and I go off, and it's going to submit my answers and grade it for me. So all the questions are built into it. So that's Linux Essentials in Cisco NetSpace, free to any Cisco Network Academy. Just join the LPI Academy. All right? Anybody got questions about that before we go to the next lab library? We're going to do labs in that one. So we're cool? Complete course. It's designed for you to either add into a module of your operating system class, teach as a standalone class, or you can include it in just a Linux class as part of a Linux class. If I was teaching at a 4-year university and I was going right to Linux Plus, like Timor is, and I had a student that was really struggling with the Linux command line, I would encourage him to do it on his own, to get caught up with his peers. If I was teaching at a community college and somebody came in the door and they'd never did anything with Linux, I might start them right here. Yeah. Does that help, baseline? Okay. It's free. This is free. We're working a pilot with Cisco starting the end of this month. Anybody that wants it, just got to join the LPI Academy. That's it.
Correct? If you go to this page, you go to netacad.com, right?
It's not turned on for your institution yet.
Oh, okay.
You got to join Cisco Academy already? join the LPI Academy, and we'll be turning on the end of the month for LPI Academies. So if you don't join the LPI Academy, you won't have access to it. You can look around all you want. So you got to see Chuck, guys. All right. That's great. All right. Here we go. So Linux Plus Labs. I have some Linux Plus lab libraries. Who in here has a NetLab Plus system? All right. Those guys that raise their hands, they want to, they can share time with you. They can put these Linux Plus labs on their system and share time with you. I can also give you access as instructors. Everybody in the room can have access to the labs we're getting ready to kick off. They were developed by nisgtc.org. Do you guys know those folks? Look up their website. They've got lots of lab libraries that we've developed and we're putting on NetLab systems, and the Hillier is here. For example, they did a GIS, Geographical Information System. We did 5 courses with them. Phil Davis is here. Dr. Davis did those 5 courses with us. They can be run through that grant consortium also. Now we've got 2 lab libraries, Series 1 and Series 2. I'm going to go through them before we start. I'll show them to you. They're available on the NetLab system, as I said. These Linux lab libraries are documented on our website. They align to CompTIA's Linux Plus offering by LPI. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to log into a NetLab system. All right, I got 15 accounts. How many folks we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13, 16, 19, you got 20. All right, can you all pair in groups of 2? And then what I'll do is I'll put you in pairs so you work together as a pair. Yep. And then if people that want to be individuals, I'll have a few to give you as individuals. You guys working working in a pair? Yes. Okay. Can you guys 3 want to work together, or you want to be individuals? So Israel, go through the middle. So they can all see. You guys okay working together? Yeah. Do you want access to the lab, or you want to pair with somebody? You 2 can pair if you want. Okay, I'll get your account together. Teamwork, you want to run the lab? You be in the middle? I'll give you your own at the end here. You guys? All right. You want your own? Okay. All right. So I got a feel for it. You pair together. All right. Here we go. Do not use an account unless I give it to you. Why is that important? If these guys log in with the same account you log in, you're going to kick each other out because the system will go, hey, somebody else is using that, then they'll log you out. Please don't fight each other for lab access. Also, please do not click "We're done." Why am I saying all these things slowly to you guys? I've worked with techies for 20-some years. You guys are going to do your own thing once we get in the screen, and that's cool. That's really cool. I don't mind that. In fact, I encourage it. But when I hit the next screen, I'm going to give you all the accounts. Wait till I give it to you. All right, here is the URL, lpi.netdevgroup.com. Only 1 person in your team should be doing the lab. All right? The first account that I'm going to pass out is Linux demo _ then a number. Okay, write down your number as we go here. You're 60. Israel, you're 61. 62. 63. Seymour, you're 64.
You got to give it to her in other words.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, that's fine. 65. 68. 67. 68, 69, 70. Okay, has everybody got their number? So I need to do it again? All right. So I am going to log into my system account, and Ross is a Linux expert. I'm going to let him run up here in a second. And what he can do is mentor you guys. Now, there's a couple of things to know about this setup. You're going to have some windows pop up at you probably that you can watch as I log in up here. I'm logging in my account. The first thing that's going to happen is a firewall test. Does anybody know why we like to do this? If your student's firewall is blocking the connection, what's your life going to be like? Right? It's going to be a nightmare, right? Yeah, we'll talk to you, Timur. You can talk to me about it because the guys that work on that is Rich, Lucas, and Roger Jones. I'll just get in touch with you. You can talk to them. You give them your feedback.
I got a question for you.
Sure.
The people online, or whether you they can participate, or is there a way to send them?
How many of them are there?
There's 3.
3. Okay, yeah, so we'll give them accounts in just a minute. Let me get these folks taken care of. All right, so up here, notice it's asking me if I want to run this. And the answer is run this time or always run on this site. I'm going to say always run on the site so I don't have to deal with a pop-up window. Okay? It is going to pass the remote access test. They do have the ports open. Now, if you deny it, obviously, it's not going to be happy about it. It's going to take it a second to do the test. Go ahead. Oh, thank you. All right. Yes, keep. Now, what I like to do, which I should have done, I don't like to use Chrome. I would have used Mozilla usually. I didn't realize what I was on. So use Mozilla, guys. That's okay. But you can log out. Guys, you can log out. Go to Mozilla, which is on all your machines. Yeah. So, hey, guys, everybody go to Mozilla for me, because I'm more familiar with Mozilla. I don't use Chrome. Let's see here. Mozilla Firefox, which is the little Firefox icon, the little fox. It'll work in Chrome. I'm just not familiar with the pop-ups. Yet,
Rich, if you get a second, we need to see the signings just for a moment. So those.
Yeah, I'll go back to them, guys. I just want to, the little pop-ups, you should just answer positive, obviously. Okay, now once you get logged in, you're going to have a little inner lab button. LPI.netdevgroup.com. I'll go back to it. All right, there's the usernames again, LPI.netdevgroup.com. That's the website. LPI.netdevgroup.com. Okay, you were 60? Yes. Israel, you were 61? 62? You were 63. A few more. Are you in? 64. You guys are in? Yeah. All right. You're in? All right. 66. Okay. Who's not in? Anybody not in? There you go. All right. All right. Here we go. Folks, give me your attention for a second. I want to make sure that you're not signing in multiple machines to the same number. All right. If you sign in multiple people to number 65, they're all going to be stepping on each other. The URL is LPI. So that's why we gave one set first. Right? You good with that? No, okay. Just one word. NET, dev, and development. I'm going to always go. Yeah, NET is DEV. D is in Victor. Group. So it's LPI.netdevgroup.com. And then their user IDs are Linux, one word, all lowercase, demo, underscore, 74, 73, and 72, and 73, and 72. All right? And the password is netlab123. All right, guys, here we're going to do. You should have an inner lab button. If you click on the inner lab button, you will kick off your lab and the VMs will start loading. You're going to have 4 VMs, virtual machines, that are available to you. So if you'll kick the lab off, you hit inner lab. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to act like an instructor here. And I'm going to jump around in a few of the sessions. So I'm going to jump into 60. The VMs are up and running. Notice here I've got the virtual machines here. Now notice here I've got an exercise tab. Everybody see this exercise tab? You click on the exercise tab, select lab 7A. Lab number 7A. 7A. Pardon me? Awesome. So If 7A was already active in your system, you just click on Show Lab Content, and the lab exercise is going to pop up.
Show content.
So you see the button down here, Show Lab Content?
I also show content.
So you click on that, and the lab exercise is going to pull up. Now I want to share something with you. I know that you guys are all techies, and I know what that means. That means you want to do your own thing, which is really, really cool. Go for it. If you get bored with this lab, as you're scrolling down and reading it, you can click on the Exercise tab. You can select the next lab, 7B, and you can do that lab. If you're really bored and you want to do the labs, you want to do your own thing, go play with the VMs and check them out. The whole point of this is to give you an opportunity to play around in the lab environment. You can absolutely have access to this lab environment anytime you want it. All you got to do is ask us for it. We'll give you access to it as instructors. If you join the LPI Academy, Ross runs webinars, what, once every 2 months? You run webinars?
Depends on demand right now. We just went through a big series of them. So the more sign on, the more we want.
So you can do these labs, come to the webinars, and Ross will kind of go over the certain programs. All right, so Ross, I'm going to let you come up here, and if somebody wants help, they can raise their hand. And what Ross can do very easily is he finds out what student number you want, and he can join you. In fact, we could watch some of you type if you want us to. We can just put it up here on the board as you're doing your work.
I got a question. Is Linux demo, is that a space between the two?
It's an underscore.
Underscore.
Underscore demo.
Got it.
I wish my guys would have made it a little harder, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, what do you all think so far? Bored to death? Not sure what to do.
So go back to your go up to get into this guy down. So right now you're learning the position. Oh, here. Keep going down and say so all that stuff on the beginning, so the student doesn't drive the grade, now you're in your virtual machine, so you can log in and wait for this, we're going to go over to the left side here, and then position
Yeah, so here's some really good questions. One of the questions is, what username do I log in on the Fedora workstation? Ooh, what happened to my screen here?
I don't know. Go back to sharing. Okay, back up here.
We're no longer sharing?
No, I don't know what happened. Okay, click here.
Click there?
Yeah, okay. Hosted pods. You know what? Go back here again.
I'll let you do your thing so I get out of your way.
Oh, see, resume.
All right, so at the top of the lab, there was a bunch of material presented to you, including the login, username, and password. So you got to kind of read through that beginning stuff. And I know the tip was a little confusing at first, but once you get used to it goes pretty fast. There's a table up above that tells you the sysadmin username and password.
So also remember, this is one of the reasons why we wanted to give you access to this as an instructor, so you get used to it.
Yeah, you're supposed to read it. It's in a table. Password, username, and password is at the very top.
Did you get your virtual machine started? Passwords are not in very good. So go back to your column. Click on send off server. And that should bring up your virtual machine. Second. Okay, so now fully install the click up here on the top.
All right, guys, here you go, right on my screen. It's on page 7, your lab settings. The Fedora workstation, if that's the one you want to play with, is sysadmin.
Yeah.
Password is netlab123. Page 7.
you mean these speakers?
Yeah, so now you can make this what you're doing now. So the easiest way for you to do the labs with the virtual machine is to position the two windows, the viewer on the left or the right, and then put the lab on the other side. Okay? Makes life a lot easier.
Well,
Well, you look at the instructions. Show lab controls.
yeah.
Okay, there you go. So now you
Oh, okay.
so it's telling you go to. So somebody earlier asked me where's the F. If you expand your window, it's in the left corner. You might have to drag your window over a little bit. And now forward.
Very straightforward.
Okay, we'll see.
With no one instrument, but the other play
Terminal, yes, what you gotta do is you gotta be able to see the bottom of the scene set here.
You're in the application. Those are really the browser covered in the bottom objects. Oh, the chief of the system. There you go.
Looks like we have to maximize the astro.
Is there a page or something to contact you and say how to work? So maybe contact.
Oh, actually, hold on a second. Let me give you a different card. Crazy. You can right click on the background as well. How we doing? Okay, click on this photo. That's right.
I'm going to go to your right side.
If you click on this, yeah, I'm sorry. It's just one of those, they decided to take a multitasking facing house pointer computer. Everyone's going to be as fast as possible. A big knock. And then we can make sure that that's okay. So if you're doing the business, that's fine. That's fine. So you work with them because they're Cisco cabinets. So we need you to be in the program. So without so tell them about this new project. See if they'll work. And then they won't. You email. You gotta work it out. You have my email? You want my card? Thank you. Okay, anybody want my card to burn it in effigy or after this bad experience here with the slides? Yeah?
Rich said that if we had a hard time, the VMware guys would try to hear, so you know when go.
Somebody's going to drop it in one of those restaurant bowls for me. You got a whole box. Of course, I do travel a lot, so I might get some free meals. I can get some food. Now, okay, that was my card. Anybody want the actual technical staff that actually does real work card? I've got their cards. Yeah, you got it.
I take credit for their hard work.
Timur, did you log into your own NetLab system back with the college? Oh, is it? So I got a support team and a product. I work some content engineers. This is their card if you need it. Anybody want that? Okay. So these are the actual curriculum engineers.
How are you doing for the online folks? Any questions?
You know what? I gave them the instruction for how to how to get multiple forecasts.
Okay. Cool. Yeah.
Are you okay? Okay. Hold that for me, okay? All right, is everybody okay? Anybody need help? I got the impression people are getting it now. Or you're off doing your own thing, which is cool too. We don't care if you do that. All right. Exactly. What did you do? Say,
Do we have a type of question mark?
there you go.
You don't see those questions.
Yes, because you have to rely on Oh, any word, okay, like yeah.
Right, so remember, a dot says any character known to image.
Right. Let's start with the A, or B, or C, D.
Oh, you can do ranges? Okay.
Like, okay,
This is the fedora. Oh, okay. That's right. They just go back out and go back to the fedora.
Yes? Yes? All right, guys, got about 8 minutes.
Lots of regional business development.
That was a good call. All right, you got about 8 minutes. You're welcome to keep playing with us, but here's what I want you to do here. You guys can have access to this Linux lab library. All you got to do is join LPI Academy and Chuck over here. What he does is he makes sure that everybody that joins the LPI Academy and then registers as an instructor gets lab time to these labs. We did 2 series of labs, and it's no charge. You just bang away on all you want. All right? Chuck will also make sure that every LPI Academy gets notification as soon as the Linux Essentials course is ready in Netspace. So if you join the LPI Academy, you're not at Cisco Academy, you're going to still get notification it's there. And then you can work with your school to join the Cisco Academy. I think Cisco's going to work with us to accommodate those that don't join the Cisco Academy, but we prefer you join the Cisco Academy because we need to show the value. So they'll keep doing the program. Make sense?
So you recommend 2 units or 3 units?
The Linux Essentials is definitely 1 unit. Advanced students, it might be part of a course. In other words, you're at a 4-year university and you've already got students walk in the room, they're pretty Linux savvy. Linux Essentials is going to bore them. They walk into the room and they're not Linux savvy at all, it'll help them catch up to their peers.
Can I talk to you about this?
Yeah, go for it.
So we've had a number of questions from folks about, and I don't know about the rest of you, but have you ever had anybody ask you, so how many classes have you given? And you have to think, not in terms of like, you know, 10, like that. You think in terms of decades, okay? Think about the number of classes that you've given and the number of times that you had somebody come in and they were just like, oh, I don't know if I'll ever get this. It's like, let's change your thought process. Let's go from, I don't think I'll ever get this, to, I'm going to get this. And it'll be a short period. When you first began this lab scenario, did you have a little bit of a tough time? Getting used to the interface, first time you'd ever seen it, right? Honestly, yes? Okay. I know, I watched you. I watched me go through it the first time, and I called Rich, and I said, where in the heck is the so-and-so? And he goes, bottom right hand, oh yeah, that one, okay. The one down there in the bottom right hand corner, got it. Students are going to have a little bit of a initiation period with it. They'll very quickly get to the point where they know how to resize the windows, get everything on screen, you'll be in the right virtual machine and the right lab manual, which helps things match up a lot. Okay. So a couple of those. The other thing is that when you're looking at this set of skills, remember that you're turning students onto something that if they like it and they go through the process, they're not only going to make good money doing this, but they're going to have a good time with it. Okay, being a sysadmin can be, well, there are times when you really don't want to be a sysadmin. It's, you know, like when everything blows up and like is terrible and you have to assemble one server out of the 4 that were broken, right? But the rest of the time it's good pay, it's not a bad job. There's also a couple things that I want you to know about the LPI Academy, and that is that I have been doing this poll for a while. You'll probably be the final group before we put it into action. We are thinking that those who are part of the LPI Academy, what we're going to do is create a short kind of, let's call it command line, commando, whatever you want to call it, series where we'll take a particular section from the front to the end of, say, Linux Essentials, and have a short vignette that you all can come and either look at live while we're doing it in a Google Hangout, or you can come and look at the recording afterwards. So what I'll do is I'll go in and I'll show you how we've done this particular section, and you can either feel free to copy that or use it for inspiration or write me and tell me I'm an idiot and here's how it's really done. All of those are fine. I don't mind. I've been told that a few times too. But I want to offer that to you because I know what it's like to have to take what you understand and articulate that to a group of people who, quite honestly, don't really believe that it works yet, right? You ever have students who do not believe that it works until they see that it works, and then all of a sudden, okay, I've got it? I think we're all like that. So I want to give you that possibility, and if you register, we'll be sending those out, okay? So that's a series that only instructors will have access to. I'm not going to release that to the general public. I want to offer that as a help for you as you're getting ready for your classes. Okay?
All right, so this course, NetSpace, it's in NetSpace. Chuck's got brochures for you. Chuck?
Yeah, I've got some brochures for LPI Academy. Also, so if you haven't picked this up already, a little bit about LPI Academy program and where you go to join. And then also just some information about the 3-in-1, the Linux Plus 3-in-1 advantage. And then, of course, website, very easy, LPI Academy program, join now. And it's just a simple form and a click-through agreement. Once that hits our queue, I'll get notified and get a welcome letter out to you. And if we have a situation like this gentleman has, where he is adjunct professor or you don't have signing capabilities yet, or you're not going to because of what you're doing, let us know. We're more than happy to get on the phone and talk to your administrator. Chuck and I do this all the time. Then the agreement is in PDF form on you can download it, and if you need to run it up for review. You go right there and
Here's registration.
registration right there.
Here's the agreement. And I know the lawyer that drafted it, and it was like, hey, dude, make this so benign that any school administrator looked at it would go, yeah, let's do this thing.
We try to make it, part of the reason, we try to make it so it would be acceptable across the board as best as we can make it. It's impossible for us to localize it to every state government and every country in the world. We're doing our best. But if you have questions, if there's questions about it, please don't hesitate to contact me.
All right, guys, questions? Anyone? Okay. He's going to send you, basically an automated letter is going to come to you. Any instructor at your institution can join the program. They will get access to Linux Plus labs. When Cisco says we're a go for the pilot, which will be by the end of this month, you'll get a notice that it's in NetSpace of your Cisco Networking Academy. You can start using it. So here's what will happen. Every LPI Academy will turn in a spreadsheet to Cisco, and they'll make sure it's enabled for your academy in NetSpace. Yeah. All right. And it kind of makes sense if you think about it. Cisco spent a lot of money to build the learning management system. So they would like for schools to use that system for this Linux Essentials. They don't want us to use it to bypass them, which makes sense. Okay?
One last thing about that is that you work with you guys on the backside, and so you'll be able to see the numbers of students that come from the different schools, etc. I want to let you know right now that when you start into production with this, when you start running classes with this, the more students you have, the more instructors you have, and the higher scores they get, the more prizes you get. Okay?
That's an LPI commitment. The Porsches, the Jaguars, for instructors, that comes from Ross.
Yeah, from the Mattel Corporation. The little
All right. Anybody got questions? All right. Can I just ask one thing? Please raise your hand. Is this a value? The stuff you're seeing is a value. Raise your hand if it is, because we're just baselining. Okay. Oh, okay. That's a hand raise, right? Not okay.